And we're live. Hi, this is Jay Skinner, and you're on the pre-show of the Buyers and Sellers Show. We're going to talk about duck hunting. What about that? You'll find out pretty soon. Let's give everybody a chance to get on. I'll just play a little bit and we'll have some fun. Hey, you're at the pre-show of the Buyers and Sellers Show. I'm Jay Skinner, and we're going to talk about duck hunting. Identifying your target markets. Oh, where'd that note come from? And we're live. And that was a pre-show, and I'm so glad you're all here. This is a fantastic day. And today the topic is identify your target markets and then make yourself known. How about that? We need to be doing that, don't we? Anyway, I do want to encourage everybody that's coming on and watching live to be sure and go to the comments section. And I'm gonna put one up right now so you can see where it is. I'm gonna go www.thejskinner.com. And if someone says, well, how do you find Jay Skinner and the stuff that he talks about and whatever it is, probably the easiest way to find my show and everything is just to go here, hit this, boom. And if we're lucky, that link's going to just pop up everywhere and where you are. And that way you can kind of see where it is, and that'll be great. And I'm going to go back over here. Remember that some of the important things that we teach here on the Buyers Sellers Show are not just what to think or what to do, but how to think and how to do. And in this case, over time, we got some rules that come up with that become foundational to what we're doing. And one is the silver rule, and that's do unto your vendors as you want your customers to do unto you. And those of you that buy something sometimes from someone, that's all of us. Think about how you treat them and you deal with them, and do it how you wish your vendors treated you and your customers treated you. That's what I mean, how your customers would treat you. And that'll be a kind of like a good guide for behavior, all of us. Behavior's been kind of a theme for the last couple of weeks, hasn't it? How we recognize other people's behaviors and work with our own to be the most attractive. So the green rule is do for yourself what you're asking others to pay you to do for them. A tremendous example is if you're selling something that you also use in your business or in your life, but you don't have any of it. It's almost like you can't afford your own stuff. So you're out there selling, fantastic pieces of equipment, some sort of a product, and someone comes and visits you and they look around, they don't even see your product in use at your plant. It's like, what? So think about that. Make sure you're doing for yourself what you're asking other people to do for themselves as well. And then the platinum rule by Dr. Tony Alessandra, who's one of my mentors and friends and a pioneer in this industry of working with people and building rapport and getting things done, says, do unto others as they want done unto them. Think about that. You may be used to the golden rule, but really the most successful rule is the platinum rule, do unto others as they want done unto them. So anyway, if you are commenting here from Facebook and your name doesn't show up somehow, if I call it up, you can just go online right here and make sure you're properly registered. Well, this is a good day, and I just spent the week with one of my customers, and it's like at the end of I say spent the week. It was a day and a half of time. I had to go up to Wisconsin, and then I spent all day Tuesday and half the day on Wednesday before I came back. And this is one of the divisions of one of my customers, packaging systems. Uh, Packaging systems, and they're also known as Packaging Systems of Indiana, but they are acquiring other companies around the country and doing some great things. And I work for the owner under the capacity of the CEO extender. As you know, that's one of the things that I do. And so part of it was to go up there and get to know the group there. And we're working on all their digital marketing and other things like that. And get to know them, get to understand them, and work on a few things that we needed for our digital marketing package that goes ultimately into our websites and all that. While I'm up there, I take time to spend time with all the people, and they were so good to give me one-on-ones with everybody there. And I had a chance to really get to know the whole group. And then we had some group sessions. And one of the group sessions that we did, really the I thought really hard. I had one big group session available to me from a time frame standpoint, and I'm just figuring out what can I do that's I don't believe in shooting blanks. I want to use this time to be the most valuable thing that when they walk out, they can go, yes, we can work on that. This will drive us and guide us, and we can do it. And it ended up being pretty much target market identification. And it's like, okay, we're going into this new world where we're increasing a lot of things about the company, and the company's in great shape and they've been around for 30 years. We're just making it greater and doing more stuff and building on what they've already built. And we went through this process with the group, and I thought, well, you know what, I probably should share the whole idea of this duck hunting, finding your target markets, with my group on the Buyers and Sellers Show today. So I'm going to be talking about those ideas. And looks like I have a comment. There we go. Martin Mueller. Good day from Memphis, Tennessee. Martin, so glad to see you. He's one of my good friends that we've known each other here for a couple of years. And we were together in Charlotte at the Gittimer event a few months ago, and we got to know each other face to face and go break bread, and that was wonderful. Thanks, Martin. Glad you're here. Sharon, this is my niece Sharon Skinner Hoffmeister, and she has been going live every day. Give me a number, Sharon. She got over 1,000 consecutive lives for her business, and you can find her at the SharonHoffmeister.com and see what she does. That would be very cool. The SharonHoffmeister.com. You catch her on Facebook and everything. She's very cool. Has a wonderful business that you could get gifts and things for yourself you would love. And she is what will we number 1022. Fantastic. I'm so proud of you, Sharon. You got me beat. This is number 76, 76 consecutive weeks. And I know how hard it is to do that, to do 1,022 consecutive days and never skipping a day is mind boggling. And I'm so proud of you. Keep it up. And I know it's reflecting well in your business and you're doing well. So that's awesome. Anyway, um, I had spent this week up in Minnesota with a company called Small Quantity Boxes. It's also now known as SQB Packaging Systems. And the founder, president of the company sent me this. Check it out.
Hey Jay, this is Dennis Nice, president of SQB Packaging Systems in Neenah, Wisconsin. Hey, I just wanted to let you know what a great time we've had the past day and a half with what you brought here and taught us with duck hunting and customers and relationships. It was wonderful. And I'd highly recommend you to anybody that is looking to invest in their people to make themselves a better company. So I just wanted to say thank you, Jay Skinner. Look forward to the time you come back and keep duck hunting. Thank you, sir.
Wow. I'm just so thankful for people like Dennis to Grutenheis. And he's a legend what he's done up there with that company. Unbelievable to get to spend time. I've been working with him remotely for months. But to get up there with his whole team and see what he's done and see how well he treats his people and his management style and everything, it's like, oh my gosh, it's nice to walk into a situation where you're not pulling it up out of the weeds, but you're building on top of something beautiful. It's already been done. And his customers love him and his company, and all his people are very invested, heartfelt. So it was great. Anyway, the great Zig Ziglar said, "You cannot make it as a wandering generality. You must become a meaningful specific." And that stuck with me. I've mentioned that line a lot of times since the first time I saw Ziglar. And when we talk about target markets, if you want to be a meaningful specific within your company or even within, as you're the CEO of your own territory, as a salesperson, you want to know what you're going to do in the morning and who you're going to talk to and specifically what your targets are. And I know from experience that if you just like look at all the businesses in town and somehow going to go after them, like that's pretty general. If you're going to hone in on something, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 maximum. I like 3 or 4 target markets that you can be excellent at, that you become well known in locally or regionally or nationally or internationally, as was the case with my work with Stratus Plastic Pallets. You're gonna benefit from that, and you're gonna have that good sense of, I know where to go and what to do. And so you're going to like this. So we talk about, what does your deck look like? Take a look at this. Boom. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. There's a picture of a duck. Now, everybody kind of knows what a duck looks like, but it's because that you understand the anatomy of that duck when it flies by or walks by. It's got characteristics that, I know what it is. Got a beak and a bill. Oh, I need to correct it. It was misspelled over there as bean, but it's beak. And it has this look. And this is some sort of a duck. Now I'd call that a mallard. And then I have a duck, plastic duck that I actually left up in Wisconsin, and I'm going to retrieve it when I go up the next time. Was called a pintail. So there's within types of ducks, there's very specifics. You just need to know if I see something, if ducks is what I'm shooting for, then I need to know that when they fly over or walk by, that I shoot the right thing. And that's in particular, that's very important, because what you don't want to do is shoot one of these, a pigeon, or shoot one of these, an eagle, or shoot one of these. They're all birds of some sort. And if you don't know what that duck looks like, really, and you can't identify it, you'll be blasting it away all sorts of birds. And some of you may be sheepishly sitting there talking about remembering when you sat in a duck blind somewhere and some other kind of bird flew over and you almost shot it. And I know that happens sometimes. Anyway, we don't want to shoot at the wrong stuff. One, waste ammunition, doesn't even matter. So when we're talking about the anatomy of your target market here, and I'm going to go back to that duck in a minute. What I suggest is that you take the easy route and you look at your existing customer base, if you have one. And hopefully, I'm going to assume that most of the people here already have customers, or they know what their customer base looks like. And I want you to go into that and identify what 3 or 4 target markets you have. Now, in the course of this, let's make sure that we understand there's a big difference between geography, industries, and products. Here, I'm talking specifically about industries. Sometimes people use the word market and they say, well, what market are you in? They'll say, well, the United States, Mexico, and, China or something. Say, well, okay, that's a type of market. It's not very specific, but I know what you mean. We're not talking about that. They say, what kind of market you in? Some people will say, well, I sell dish pans and cookware and knives and forks and spoons and cups and saucers. Well, those are products. That's not markets. But in a conversation, sometimes I'll hear products referred to. Or worse yet, I'll look at a website and it'll say our markets, and you go down there and you see a list of products. And that tells me and your customers that you don't know the difference between an industry and a product necessarily. Target markets and industries we serve is very important to understand how to identify that and use it and talk about it, because people will come to your website and sometimes they don't have time to fish around and look at a billion products or fish around and try to figure out where to find what they're looking for. But if there's a target market thing there that says industries, they can go, oh, and they go over there, select whatever industry it's in. And I'm going to help in that area right now. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to go to my old company, pallets.com, which I was part of starting it up about 1993. Let's hit that. There we go. And I'm going to drag this over here so you can look at it with me. Boom. And we were an internet company. It was like before the internet. When the internet was on DOS on bulletin boards, we had this figured out and owned pallets.com. Take a look at this. And we were bought by private equity and brought into some really great companies. And right now it's owned by Snyder Industries. And and that's part of another company called Tank Holding Company, and then there's a private equity company with that. Might be Olympus Partners. I don't remember now because that happened after I left in 2018. But you can see the wisdom of proper organization of a website right here. And let's see. This says type. If I come to this, I say I need some sort of plastic pallet. I need some material handling solutions, and I don't have time to fish all over for a billion different pallets and look at all, because that's what you got here. I mean, you got a lot of plastic pallets, but I can go here and say, okay, what particular industry am I in? And this says flexible packaging, printing, converting, food and pharmaceutical, corrugated packaging, oil tools, and machine shop, which are some of the target markets for Stratus Pallets, pallets.com. And it's like, oh, right. Now, if I'm a printer, I can go here and I can see the specific products and things about that. If I'm in food and pharmaceutical, I can click here, and then it's going to bring up some information that's particularly associated with what I'm doing. And these are pallets right here that are used a lot in the food and pharmaceutical industry. And I don't have to look at every single pallet on earth or that's made by Stratus or this company. It drills down right to the very specific things that work for it. That's pretty nice to do that. And again, that's where you're sorting by industry. And I'm suggesting that you know your target markets well enough so that someone can go there and say, oh, I'm in the metalworking industry, or I'm in the food industry. And whoops, you got a sneak peek of my next one. I'm in this or that industry. And then when they go there, they can see exactly how you're handling it and what products fit for them. They can look at everything else. But isn't it nice when they can see the products that really apply to them? And that's by industry groups, target market identification. So let's look at some specific characteristics, how that might work with your identification. I suggest that you have a real nice meeting with the whole team. And I'm going to pull this. I'll take this thing off. Oop, there we go. And this is an example right here where I took the same duck picture and I looked at different aspects of a company that you might identify. And you look at your current customer base. I'm not talking about dreaming about new places to go. Look at your current customer base, and can you break them out? The top 80% of customers, can you break them out into some target markets? And I don't necessarily mean numbers of customers, the top 80% of revenue. And can we figure out that, yeah, we're serving this industry and that industry and that industry? And you start looking at them within that industry. What do they look like? Are they growth oriented, willing to try new things? Do they have problems that need solving? I mean, whatever specific, as you're looking at it with your team, say, what, if I saw a company out there, how would I know this goes into that target industry for me? And within that industry, you may say, well, there are subsets. An example is the food industry. Well, you've got food where it's growers and it's agricultural. You have processors, and then within processors, you have different types of food. It could be meat or vegetables or pasta. Does that make a difference? Some have a lot of frozen aspects to it. Others just have refrigeration. Some don't have any of that. Depends when you look at this, how specific you need to get to know what your real target market is within the industries. And then on your website and in your marketing and in your minds, you become a productivity and efficiency specialist to those specific target markets. So now think about this. When you walk into a plant and you have to say, oh, great, it's very nice. You got a nice plant here, sir. Tell me a little bit about you and what you do. Well, we've talked about this before. I'd probably just send you away. Say, well, the internet's big. We're all over it. You could have figured that out before you got here. That would not be very good to show up asking that kind of a question. So I hope you do your homework before you go anywhere. However, after you've done your homework and you're coming in, if you remember, Rain, first step in your meeting anyway is to establish some rapport. And how do you do that? You mentioned something that you saw on the internet or you heard or have some sense of that shows that you've done your homework, but you're asking a question to further understand them, what they do. And then what's really cool is you start talking about what they do in their business and say, this is one of our target markets. I specialize in doing business with you. And the guy's going to say, great. Now I don't have to explain everything about it. We can just walk around the plant and you can make some suggestions. Exactly. You are a productivity and efficiency expert to the boom industry. And one of those 3 or 4 target markets that you've identified as great, that's what you are. That's what you need to be. Your customers will appreciate it. If you don't know how they work and what they do and how they produce products, and all you know is about your low product, whatever it is you're selling, but you don't understand what happens after it and what happens before it, you don't know the names of the companies that also serve him, and you can't add anything to help him be more productive and efficient. You've just relegated yourself to being a commodity, and now it's all about price and service, if you're lucky at that point. And he's got to shop and he's got to think about it, whatever it is you're bringing. But if you walk in there and you walk around and you give him 3 or 4 ideas of how to even be better at what he does, many of which don't have anything to do with what you sell, oh my gosh. But it all starts with target market identification and making sure that you understand the details of the industries that you serve. So, was that pretty clear? I think it is. And I'm telling you, it needs to be formal so that everyone's involved and everybody understands. And now we're going to take those 3 or 4 target markets that represent 20% of our revenue that we're really good at. And we're going to put our emphasis on those when it comes to marketing and training and everything else. So that when they call up, guy says, I'm with XYZ company and I'm in the food processing business. Your person's going to say, great. What kind of food do you process? Ah, and are you involved in refrigeration and freezing? Tell me a little bit more about what you're doing. Huh. And the person's going to be very impressed. Here's a good one. You may have heard the word converters. It's used in a lot of industries. And if you're talking to someone and they say, and you say, well, hi, Joe, what do you do? And he says, well, I'm a converter. And looks at you like that. If you do what 80% of the people do next, which is nod your head like you know what he's saying, you've just lost all credibility. Let me tell you what the next thing you should do. It's not a secret, but most people don't have the guts to do it. They just want to nod when they don't have any idea what they're nodding to. You ask Joe what he's doing, and he says, well, I'm in converting. I'm a converter. You need to say, what do you convert? Because we don't know what he's converting, if it's plastic or paper. And then what do you convert it into? Oh, that's cool. And that could lead you into people that are making plastic bags or paperboard boxes or corrugated boxes or who knows what. But if you just accept I'm a converter, you've shown how much you don't know. Every time you nod your head to something someone else says that you don't really know what they're saying, you're really hurting yourself. But when they say something, you go, what does that mean? Now you show you care, you're paying attention, and you're willing to learn. There you go. Now, the last part of this is, hold on just a second, because I have 11 o'clock. Can I believe this? Hold on a second. Morgan, I'm on my live show right now. Hey, I'll give you a call back, but thank you very much. I'll call you back. Okay, bye. How about that? That's one of my digital marketing agencies that I work with. And so very important people. By the way, when you prioritize stuff, this gave me a chance to mention this as well. What's closest to the customer comes first. And her agency is working very closely with my client, who I'm working with, a different client than the one I mentioned. And we're right in the middle of some big stuff. And if she had to ask a quick question, we were going to take it. Got to take care of the customer. Anyway, priority, what's closest to the customer, comes first. Then after you develop these target markets, like I described here earlier, and I showed you on the pallets site as an example, very specific businesses that you serve well and you're going to become a productivity and efficiency expert of in the course of doing business with them and getting smart. You need to attend vertical trade shows, which means trade shows that are within that specific industry where those guys show up. Think about my duck. If you're going to go shoot ducks, where are you going to go hang out? Where they hang out. You got to go find the ducks where they hang out. You got to go look, where's my ducks? Where are these ducks hanging out? You're not going to run down there and sit in the parking lot at the mall hoping for ducks. You're going to go where the ducks hang out. And what you need to figure out is where your ducks hang out. And in a lot of cases, it's vertical trade shows. That's where they go. And you want to attend those. And I recommend don't walk the show, get a booth there. If they're walking the show, then you want to have a booth so they can come by and see you. Another aside, don't just go walk a show and just to see if you want to do it the next time in 2 or 3 years. Why set your marketing and sales effort back 2 or 3 years by just walking a show? There's enough data out there about trade shows now that you can look at it, talk to the rep, and go buy a 10 by 10 or a 10 by 15 and show up and work it. I mean, if it's attended by your target market, then it's worth going to, period. Don't walk shows and waste 2 or 3 years thinking about it. It's like you're as bad as the guy that doesn't, needs to think about it to buy your product or whatever. Don't do that to your company. Think about that every time you walk a trade show to consider whether or not you should do it, you're setting yourselves back at least a year and sometimes 2 or 3, depending on when it comes back around. Okay. Associations. Get in the associations that are related to your target markets and do something. Don't just join so your name's on the list. If you're getting in the association, get on a committee, be part of it, make comments, show up to the events and be someone that's a contributor to it. The members will all appreciate it, everybody in the association, and they will promote you. And if there's multiple people that are vendors in that association that do similar things or the same thing, and you're the one that shows up to the meetings and helps make it a better place, guess who's going to get recommended when the president of the association gets asked for a referral by one of the members? It won't be the guy that's just on the list. It'll be you because you're out there helping make everybody more successful. Online internet shows. Da-da! Here we are. Here we are. Did I tell you? Don't put an instrument in the background unless you're willing to play it. Okay? And at the same time, get on. Consistency is so important. So decide we're going to do something, decide what it is, make it valuable, make sure that you promote it to your target markets and that people can find you, and organize yourself in a way that it all adds up and it's professional. Now, what's professional mean? I kind of hate that word because everybody thinks sometimes professional is stiff and stodgy. Well, I hope I'm anything but stiff and stodgy. But at the same time, I hope that your perception is professional, and maybe I got some executive presence. Is executive presence? Is that what they give you, like that beautiful clip from Dennis, or when they buy you a steak dinner on your last night at a customer's? That's executive presence. Okay, what else do we have? Social media. Get out there. I'm not just talking about LinkedIn. Are you on TikTok? Are you on Facebook? Are all these things getting posted to YouTube? Do you have a chance of falling into somebody's lap by accident? I think about how many times you ran into something by accident on the internet that really became valuable. Well, you need to be out there so someone can find you by accident within your target markets. Sometimes they call this account-based marketing, so that you're targeting the proper types of accounts. And your digital marketing agency can help you with that. That's one of the things that I help people organize for their companies. And then you'll have good SEO. And I violated my own rule because I put SEO, an acronym without the meaning, search engine optimization. And it's different today than it was 15 years ago or 20 years ago. If you do it wrong, you can hurt yourself. You need to get in the minds of your target market people in a very positive way. So they think of you when they need what you do. And sometimes they don't even know why they do. They don't even know why they think of it. Can you imagine how many people thought, I don't know, I'm going to go to pallets.com when they were needing a pallet, a plastic pallet or something? We did a real good job of building that share of mind within our target markets, and they knew where to find us. The same thing needs to happen for you. That's why people can go to thejayskinner.com and find me, or theCEOextender.com, or theplasticpalletguy.com, because I'm in the plastic pallet industry still right now. And I develop very big custom projects for industry, for big manufacturing plants. That's I handle it stem to stern. I try to make it easy for people to think of. Are you doing that? Do you have the bandwidth to get that done? That's one of the difficult things, I know. But you got to take it or make it or get somebody there that can help you extend yourself as a business owner or somebody if you need it. A lot of times, if you look at your time, your personal management, you'll find out that you're spending a lot of time on stuff that's not as valuable as you were hoping. And you just got to give it up. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. And I am so proud to think about that you took the time to come here and be with me today. It's awesome. You can do it. Stretch. I gotta correct that. That's great. That is great. Let's correct that one. There. I want you can do it. Stretch out and be different. The trade show booths, are you really thematic and interesting? Or are you just like everyone else? Come on, don't do that. Catch people's minds, appeal to your target markets. If you play an instrument or something, do it. If you know how to do some magic, do it. If you know how to stand up and recite the Gettysburg Address, put on a top hat and a coat and do it. Be special and different and memorable. Make a difference. If you need me, you know how to get a hold of me. Most of all, I want you to go out there and be awesome. Have a great day. Be successful. And again, thank you for being here with me. I love you. I appreciate you. And you've just been through the Buyers and Sellers Show. Every Friday morning, 10:35 a.m. Don't miss it. See you then. See you next week. Thank you.